So this is like 14 in a row, I think, at least for Bryan, going 6+ innings. Just what does that say about the pitcher he's become and the workhorse he's become for you guys?
Yeah, he's just, he's been, kind of that stopper, when we need a big game from our starter, or, a big start, and he's kind of showed up every time. So Mr. Consistent, just, I think I'm just very proud that he's consistent with his work. He's staying on top of his stuff, and, you're seeing a pretty consistent line every single time he goes out and gives us a chance to win.
He was pretty hard on himself after the start in Arizona. What have you seen from him in the past few days that maybe led to this big breakout tonight?
No, I mean, I think each pitcher in between their starts, they have those, little things that they work on, or maybe something they want to try and execute in their bullpen. But nothing really changed. I think that's what you're seeing right now. It could be 7, or it could be a tough game. He's going to do the same thing, and I think he's kind of figured that's what works best for him. So, and I think too in Arizona he made one bad pitch, and it just kind of was glaring. Not a lot of run support, and somebody took advantage. And but I still think he threw the ball well, and he has been. So it's been good.
Is that changeup in particular pretty effective for him today? Is that kind of a step forward for that pitch?
Yeah, he threw it really well. I thought he was really aggressive, kept good arm speed on it, and was able to mix that into some lefties, which was huge there to get him off the fastball. So he, did a good job. Just continue to build off that and continue to gain confidence with that.
Were you thinking about the cycle at all as you were getting deeper into the game?
I mean, yeah, everybody does, right? So that's the hardest one, though, for sure.
We've seen the power take off this year. I mean, you've always had it. Like, you've led the position in homers each of the past 3 seasons. But how much has the ability to consistently pull the ball in the air helped you kind of reach this new height that you found?
I wouldn't say I'm trying to pull the ball in the air. I think I'm just trying to, have good at-bats, stay within myself, and, trying to, avoid the bigger, I guess, bigger gaps of, not doing well. Just trying to stay consistent and trying to have that baseline of, what I'm trying to do up there. And I think also, just focusing more on, my approach and what I'm trying to do rather than what the pitcher's trying to do. So sometimes we can get caught up in everything they're trying to do and their pitches and locations, and, we forget about what we're trying to accomplish. And I think that's kind of the difference.
So it hasn't been like a notable swing adjustment or anything like that that's led you to tap into even more power?
No, I mean, I think you always, like I said with the pitchers, hitters are the same way in the offseason. You tinker around with things, but I think, finding, what you do well and really hammer that home and try to be, consistent and constant with that. And I think that's just been the important thing, and not straying from that. Yeah.
Has listening to Seitzer and Edgar kind of preaching that middle of the field approach helped you almost not think about the power side of it, just trying to use that all fields approach, maybe hit for a little more average, and this is just what comes of that?
Yeah, I think, obviously having those guys around are great. They've done it, and what they preach is middle of the field, and that's kind of, what I like to think. And, I obviously, what kind of player you are, and, I'm somebody that I have that tendency that I can get the ball in the air really well, but to me it's just small thoughts and staying within myself and not getting too big, because when I do that, that's when I usually get myself out, or I'm hooking balls foul, getting in bad counts. So
most importantly, how does it feel to get that steals record finally?
I should have went like Ricky Henderson and just signed it for Dan. So maybe I'll talk to somebody about that.
Last night, a frustrating night, didn't come through in that big moment. Today, you did. Is that just a reminder about, because I'm sure that was hard for you to go through. Is it just a reminder that this is how baseball is, that you got to just shake off what happens before?
Yeah, I mean, every day's a new day. You got that short memory, as baseball players say. So yesterday was definitely frustrating, I think, for everybody. We had plenty of opportunities, and but you got to flush it, and you just got to come ready to go the next day. That kind of mentality of, we're in this do every day, and sometimes you're going to get, kicked in the butt, and you just got to show up the next day still and forget about it. And, that's kind of the mentality, a lot of those guys in the locker room have. So
you mentioned before that
you'll look back and kind of appreciate everything you've done, but you're still, approaching records or past records held by Buster Posey, Johnny Bench, Mike Piazza, and then the All-Star voting among the top vote getters in the league. Just how does it feel to kind of just keep doing what you're doing and now being kind of in the category of these guys, but also just being recognized for it with the All-Star voting across the league amongst fans?
Yeah, I mean, it's I'm very gracious, obviously, for all that, and it's great. But for now, just trying to keep the head down. The minute you look up and start to admire, that's when the game will come around and put you in your place, I guess, in a way. So just trying to keep the head down, keep going, try to get as many wins as we can, and go from there. And the rest will take care of itself, or it won't. So it is what it is.
Thanks, Cal.
Thanks, Cal.